Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Antie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are you
How
this
you
fine day?
doing?
Oh, I'm just fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good today, actually. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
How's the weather down there on the flatlands?
It's beautimous right now, beautiful.
Nice. Very nice.
But the clouds are moving in and they're saying the temps are going to plummet. And we may
Eek.
have snow tomorrow or tonight. No, tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got a freak little snowstorm up here in the hills yesterday. Not terrible, about a half an inch total, but it wasn't forecasted. And it just started,
Hmm.
it was coming down pretty good at one point. I'm like, uh-oh,
Really?
uh-oh. But thankfully it didn't last very long. And same, we're supposed to get some snow tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. But come Saturday, it's supposed to be sunny. I think still cold though, but sunny at least on Saturday. So
I think so too. Yeah, it's supposed to
wonderful.
just last for a short time.
Well, good. Yours will melt much faster than mine, so that's
Yeah. Yeah.
good. Most excellent. All right. Why don't we go ahead and start chatting a little bit about why don't you tell our listener about that beautiful, fantastic, amazing, creative podcast artwork that you put together?
Well, actually, I found the clip art of the two ladies and the background online on an Etsy website called Crafty Arter, CraftyArtr, all one word. Uh, and those are done by Alina, who's in Warsaw, Poland.
Ah, very cool.
A- And it's quite reasonable price wise. And she's got tons and tons of art out there. And not just watermelon, she's got strawberries and cakes and blueberries and
Getting hungry.
just, but she's really got some nice stuff out there. And she's said that we can go ahead and use her clip art
Ah,
for the background. So we got her permission.
very
But I do
nice.
want to give her a shout out. Alina, if I knew your last name, I would say that too. But Crafty Arter is a good way to start if you're looking for some clip art on Etsy.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And
Oh, and I use
mm,
some AI, artificial
oh,
intelligence.
did you now?
Yes, because the woman with the wide brim hat
That's
was a
me.
much younger woman
Yeah.
in the original clip art. So I ran an AI app to that graphic and kind of aged her a little bit. When I put your real age in there, though, Auntie, uh, she looked much older than you do. So I kind of had to bring the age down to get her to where, I thought she would compliment you. So there you
well,
go.
well, thank you. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
uh I still think she looks a little young for my age, but that's okay. It's all good. The clip art is fantastic, and there are some subtleties in the clip art that folks should take a look out for and see if they can find and post in
Yes.
comments if you notice our little quirkiness going on.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'd also like to know if anybody out there has had pickled watermelon rinds. And if they
Oh,
have, what they
sh-
think of them.
and maybe share a recipe that they truly
Yes.
enjoyed.
Yes. As a child, I must have tried them once
Hmm.
because my mom made them every year.
Nice.
I didn't particularly like them, so I never ate them.
Nice.
So I would just be interested to know what other people had to say about them.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. I like
Yeah.
that. And listener, Auntie Joan is quite the creative talent. Yes, you can see her podcast art, but let me just run down a few other creative things that our dear Auntie Joan has done over the years. She's a master quilter. She,
I wouldn't say master.
I disagree. I have a lovely piece of artwork hanging on my
That's
wall that
right, you
is, I
do.
believe, masterful. So
Well, the
it's mixed.
pattern was already there. I just,
Well, now that's all
cut and
right.
pasted, cut and
That's
pasted,
lovely,
cut and
lovely.
sewed. Yeah.
Very nicely done. She's a seamstress. She has made many beautiful Halloween costumes over the years. She makes greeting cards,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful homemade greeting cards that are digitally done and definitely very awe-inspiring. She made a very nice one for when my dog passed away years ago that I still treasure. She's made video montages over the years,
Oh, yeah.
applying music over video and bringing in photos into a video montage and overlaying music. So she's quite the creative gal over there. I'm sure I only touched on a few things. I'm confident there's a whole bunch more that I'm yet to learn or that I have forgotten over
Yeah,
time. But
yeah, I did Larry's memorial
mhm,
video.
yep,
And his son died several years before Larry. He had a
mhm,
heart attack.
mhm,
Uh and I did his too. His lasted like a half an hour.
mhm,
It was a long one.
mhm.
So,
And
yeah.
listener Larry is Joan's husband who passed away
Yep. 2019.
in 2019. Yep.
Yep. As what happens to so many of us.
Yes, all of us at some point,
Yes. Yes.
ultimately. Um, also, I want to just quickly chat about the music that we chose for our intro and exit. We were looking for something quirky and fun, but not overly peppy because we're just not overly peppy kind of gals. We did a search on Soundstripe, found some. The downside was they were $80 a pop for the license. And we're a little, new to this podcasting world, and we decided to go on the lower cost side of things to get things going. So, if you guys really like us, perhaps at some point you'll get to hear some of those wonderful Soundstripe clips that we found. We'll be willing to pony up that money. We also did a search on FMA, which is a free music archive, but really didn't find anything that we liked on that one. So we landed on a selection called The Inspiring Corporate Uplifting Ambient. A little disappointing that it has corporate in the title, but the music is kind of cool. So we both really like that one. We got that on Audio Jungle and a total purchase price of $8 for a lifetime license. So there are some stipulations. Do read the fine print. I did very carefully, Auntie Joan, I promise.
Oh, good. Good.
We are good. So now you know a little bit about our artwork and our music choices. Joan, let's talk about some similarities. So we talked about how we're very similar in our first episode, and curious as to what other things we can talk about and how we are similar and why we were meant to be friends, long lifetime friends.
We have trouble with right hand turns.
Dig those curbs. That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Yeah, we have a tendency to kind of go over the curbs. I've come up with a reason for that though, and
Oh,
that's
have you?
because yes, that's because we drive these big SUVs, which
Yes.
aren't really that big.
Mm,
And sometimes it's hard to see where the curb is.
yes.
So, yeah, we
Yes.
make our best attempt. We
Yes.
do the best with what we have.
Yes. Yes. I have to say, I used to pride myself on driving, and as I've aged, I am no longer as proud as I once was. Because
You're a very
curbs,
good driver.
well, no, curbs are not my only issue. As you know, I don't really like parking all that much. I'm very bad at parking. I used to be so proud of how well I parked between the lines, and it was perfect, and it was mwah. And then now all I park is crooked. I don't know what
Really.
happened. I
It's
don't know
the
what
other
happened.
people. They don't park right.
Yes, it's
How about
everyone
parallel?
else driving except for me.
How about parallel parking? Remember that?
Yeah, that I can do well. I'm anxious about it. I'd rather just pull in and be done, go find a
Mhm.
different spot than have to parallel park. Sometimes it's an inevitable thing that you have to do. Um, I'm not a huge fan. Never have been. But I can do it. It's just I avoid it at all costs. What about you?
Well, I can do it. It takes me several going forwards and coming back.
Same.
I actually knew a woman who could parallel park from the other side. Um, we usually
Oh,
do it with the driver.
like the Australian side?
No, when you parallel park, the driver is in towards the center of the street,
The driver's the
because you're
center.
going one
Yes.
way.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. She could do it on a one-way street
Mhm.
with the driver on the inside.
Right.
That's a bit harder to do.
Well, the only good thing about that is be a little bit easier to see the dreaded curb
Well, that's true. That's
um,
true.
than you can when you're parking on the right hand side of the road or
But I
parallel
bet
parking on
she
the right side.
can't do it now. She was much younger then. I bet she
Yeah, I
can't
bet
do
she
it
can't
now.
do it now
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
And then we both
Yeah.
had tumor babies.
Or alien baby, as I call mine. I was 36. How old were you?
42.
Okay. Okay.
Very close.
I don't know what yours was like. You had the internet by then. Uh, I didn't. I remember going to the doctor. I thought I had the flu or something, and I went in to see a GP,
Hmm.
and he felt my belly or abdomen and said, "Could you be pregnant?" And I said, "No." And he looked at me like, "What does she know?"
Hmm.
So I was directed to a gynecologist at the hospital, and it was a Friday night. He thought there could be a tumor there, cyst, something. So I went home. My mom and dad were staying with me. In those days, we didn't have the internet, but
Hmm.
what I did have was a book.
Encyclopedias.
Yeah, but I didn't have that either. What I had was Our Bodies Ourselves. If you
Oh,
if you remember that book, I don't know if you even it
it
was
sounds familiar. I can't picture it, but
it was an oversized paperback that told you everything about the woman's body.
mm,
And when I went to and it was ovarian. And when I went to ovarian tumors, and they said that they were mostly or there was a high chance of them being cancerous, then I really freaked out.
hmm.
But as it turned out, I think it was just a cyst, but it was huge. I don't think it was as big as yours, though.
Yeah. So you started with symptoms of what, nausea and
Dry heaves. I had dry
oh,
heaves, but for months leading up to that, I had this hard feeling in the center of my
mm,
abdomen.
mm-hmm.
I thought I
Okay.
was just getting fat.
Yeah, that's exactly what took me so long to go to the doctor as well. Having being heavy all of my life, and losing weight on occasion, I had lost some weight and it didn't, it seemed like I was gaining it back. And then I
Hmm.
started
Hmm.
to hardcore diet, like really hardcore, work out in the morning, work out at night, cut back significantly on calories, and the scale never budged.
Hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, well, they say after 40, I kept chalking everything up to age. You
Right,
shouldn't do
right.
that. We joke about it, but you shouldn't do that because I kept saying, oh, well, they always say over 40, it's so much harder to lose weight.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
looked in the mirror, I noticed that my boobs were lopsided, and I was like, well,
Really?
hmm, because the tumor was pushing up on one side. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, well, again, I'm old. I'm getting older. So, it happens. And I just kept chalking it up to age. And then it finally came to a culmination one day when I couldn't sit. Sitting actually hurt significantly in my groin.
Wow.
And I said, something's not right. I need to go to the doctor. So I went down and saw my GP. Well, I called and they said, we can get you in 6 weeks. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, the appointment needs to be today. I can't sit down. He's like, so you're considering this an emergency? I'm like, I think I am. He's like, okay, come down in an hour. I said, I will be there. And as soon as I laid down on the table on my back And she saw my stomach. She's like, "You're completely distended. How? Why? What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Well, now you have to go get an ultrasound." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." And had the ultrasound done, and I asked the technician, who's not supposed to say anything, and nor did she. All I said was like, "I know you can't say anything, but can you just tell me, is it something you've seen before?" And
Mm-hmm.
she said yes. And I said, "Well, that at least makes me feel better that it wasn't an alien growing inside of me." So I said, "Okay, that's fantastic." And then it turned out that, yep, it was an ovarian cyst that had gone insane and became a tumor. And it was a 30-pound tumor.
30 pounds?
30 pounds. 30 pounds. They had to drain it before they removed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it was, yeah, it was a big deal. Benign, came back benign. It was, scary times for a little bit, but
Oh,
it all
yeah.
came back benign. But yeah, it was, so I lost 30 pounds in a couple hours.
Wasn't that great when you when you
Fantastic.
put your pants on to leave the
I
hospital? They were
know.
baggy.
I was like, "Woo, look at me go. Look at me go." So that was so that is something that we share in common. It's so strange that we both had. Now, was yours on the right side? They took my fallopian tube and ovary too during that surgery. So maybe a little poundage was because of those. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, it was my right side.
See? We're
Hmm.
like sisters from another mister.
But mine wasn't 30 pounds. He said it was like the size of a 5.5 month fetus. Um, and there
Okay.
was like um, 2 liters of abdominal fluid. And he said when he cut into me,
Mhm.
it was like this gold fluid started coming out.
You were rich. You discovered gold.
I know.
It was like in Colorado, the gold rush.
I'm not a blue blood. I'm a gold blood. Uh, yeah, if we could only have saved it.
Right?
Anyway, uh, and he said that, they tried with the sponges,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, to try to absorb it, and it was just coming and coming. And he said they finally had to get a bucket.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. But
Yep.
now the 30 pounds, was that the entire tumor, or did that include the fluid, do you think?
Oh, no, that included the fluid.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No. The whole thing was 30 pounds. Yeah. Yeah. But it was, because I told you I'd been dieting like crazy because I was like, I'm gaining
Yeah.
weight. So I had been losing weight. I think I was just making more room for the tumor to grow. It was like, "Thank you. I can move now." And I'm just like, "What?" So hence the 30 pounds. But yep. Yep.
And one thing that happened is after I came back
Mm-hmm.
to work after that, there was an older lady there at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and she said hearing what I went through caused her to go to the doctor, and she also had issues. So yeah,
Interesting. Yeah. My
yeah,
GP had told me when I went for a follow up that she's like, she's like, "I saw 4 other people in your similar situation very closely after we diagnosed you." So,
yeah. I think
yeah,
it was an alien
I
babies. I
think
think that's what
it
they are.
was, yes. I think we were abducted. We were given babies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
hopefully just given, not
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like the
They
stork,
probed us.
like the
Yes.
stork. Yeah. So Auntie Joan and I have lots and lots in common.
And
Um,
then there's dermoid cysts, that people get, ovarian dermoid cysts, which are the ones with the hair and the teeth and stuff like that.
oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
oh, is that like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when she talked about she had the tumor in her neck and it was her twin? It was the teeth and the hair of her twin.
Really?
Oh, it was a joke. It was. It's My Big Fat Greek Wedding, for God's
Well,
sakes.
there are twins that get
I'm sure.
reabsorbed. Yeah,
But she's
there are.
telling that to the girls' soon to be in laws. She's telling that story.
Actually, I never saw that movie.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm,
The first one is the only one to watch, in my opinion.
mm,
The last 2 are not worth, certainly not the last one.
mm. One of many things we have in common,
Yes, our kismet.
or kids.
Our kids.
Yeah. Welcome back.
There we are. On to our next segment, which is called What We Are Watching. Auntie Joan, you want to kick us off?
Shout out to John Stewart for coming
Whoop, whoop.
back And hosting the Daily Show on Monday nights. They um they have somebody else do Tuesday through Friday, but oh my gosh, it was so good to see him again. I didn't watch it much the first time around,
Okay.
but watching it, oh my gosh, this time, boy, he just hit the nail on every head. Every head. Of course, he talked about the presidential um, nominees, potential nominees,
Mm.
equally.
Mm-hmm.
He has a problem with their age.
Mm-hmm. Most do.
And he just handled it so well. So well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I never watched him either in the first round of The Daily Show. I did watch The Daily Show when Trevor Noah was on it and hosting for quite a while, actually. I enjoyed that, but no, I never actually saw it with John Stewart. Although I may have seen No, I didn't see Stephen Colbert until he actually branched off and did the Colbert Report as a separate
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I used to watch that all the time. I
yeah,
really liked him in that.
yeah, I liked him too. So yeah, but I watched Jon Stewart's HBO show for only a couple of episodes. I just didn't care for it.
Never
Um,
watched it.
he's got, and I don't know, because I haven't seen it since he's been back on the Daily Show, but he's got a shushing voice where he shushes and he talks like
Mm,
this, and that
that's true.
there's a couple of actors that have that same shushing. I first noticed it in the X Files. The woman lead in the X Files, she shushes like that. She talks like that.
Oh, Scully?
Yeah, sure. I don't think I ever watched the X Files. So
Oh my gosh.
no, it just didn't do anything for me. But yes, she's a
Jillian.
shusher talker
I
too.
think it's Jillian Anderson, I think her
That's
name
her.
is. Yeah.
Yes, she's a shusher talker. There's a couple others, but I noticed that I never knew John Stewart because I've seen him in movies. You know, he's never a lead, but he was always a
Hmm.
supporting
Hmm.
character, and I didn't never noticed it before. So I don't know if he got dentures or what the situation was when he was on the HBO show. And look out for it and report back to us after the next episode and let us know if you've noticed the shushing
Well,
talking.
no, since you mentioned it now, yeah, he
Oh, it does ring
does.
a bell to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm not crazy. Well,
But it's worth but it's worth it for me. I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, he was so good with that, and his deliveries and the writing
yeah,
and pretty much equal comedy against each of the nominees. So
right.
and right on.
Yeah,
His points were right on.
yeah. Yep. Good.
Yeah,
Good. Awesome
yeah.
sauce. Well, I'm glad he's back. Do you know who's hosting the other 4 nights of the week? Or 3 nights of the week? I don't know if they record on
Uh,
Fridays.
this week it's I don't know his name offhand. He does these
Klemper?
interviews. No, he does these interviews on the street, man.
Yeah, Jordan
Interviews on the
Klemper,
street.
where he goes to like Trump rallies and asks questions and stuff like that.
I think so.
Yeah. Jordan Klemper, something like that. I was just curious. Well, good that he's back. Glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully, you continue to enjoy it. And
Oh, I will.
Johnny Boy comes back this Sunday that I'm super excited about. That would be John Oliver, folks. Last week
Oh,
tonight with John Oliver. Can't wait. Ivan Jones and bad. So I'm very excited to see him come back. I hope his first
we
show back is going to be great.
and we saw him live in Denver.
We sure did. We sure
Very
did.
good, very good.
Yes. And then I
I
saw,
liked it. I liked it because he includes a lot of history. And
yes.
he makes sense with why things are the way they are. He kind of ties things together with history and
Yes.
things like that. Yeah.
Agree. And then Joan, you had Auntie Joan, you had watched From Stress to Happiness after we chatted about it briefly last week, and I understand you were not a fan.
I was not impressed at all. It's like an hour
Yep.
documentary
Yep.
and at least 15 minutes of it, I swear, at least 15, well, maybe 10, 12. They're filming a meditation. It
Yes.
just and they break it up into segments, but it's like, come on, couldn't you find any other information to share during these minutes? You had to do a meditation.
True. They could have done a split screen showing the meditation while they were talking about something
Well,
else.
I don't even think they needed to put a split screen. I mean, meditation is meditation. If you want to watch a meditation, go on YouTube.
But I think they were trying, I don't know. I mean, I did. It encouraged me to try the meditation along with them because it was guided by Mateo. So that's where but then, like I said, then I was in my own head and I wasn't paying attention. That's why I don't really know what happened
Hmm,
during the
hmm,
meditation because
hmm.
I was actually trying it along with them. But
Mm,
I get it. I hear you. If you're watching it and thinking you'll get some ideas to do your own, meditations or whatever later down the road or whatever, sitting there watching 15 minutes of silence or with I mean, it wasn't complete silence, but it was, words every far and few between.
yeah, yeah.
So I get it. And I understand you also could not find Alejandro's
Could
de
not.
Gracia's wife online.
No,
She's like vanished. I hope she's
that is
okay.
weird.
I hope she's okay.
I
And
mean,
all
they,
you true crime podcasters, we expect you to go out and investigate this because we don't do that on this show. But
yeah, that
yeah,
takes too much work, but
no kidding. We just like to
um,
watch stuff and chat about it.
oh, you betcha. You betcha.
Speaking of, you've got quite the topic for today. You're going to talk about the woman in the wall.
Woman in the Wall.
Take it away, Auntie Joan.
Well, this is on Showtime. It's a series and it stars Ruth Wilson, who was in The Affair
Oh,
on HBO.
mm-hmm. I didn't watch the whole series, but
I know I got tired of it
yeah,
after,
but
yeah,
I think
several.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. She's got kind of an overbite and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Uh she walks in her sleep, and when she's walking in her sleep, she does strange things like start fires.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Um, and she's got quite the reputation around town because of her sleepwalking and things.
Does she start
Um,
fires with her mind or physically
oh
starts
no,
fires?
physically starts them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And turns out she was, um, I say incarcerated. She was sent to a Magdalen laundry in Ireland. She's Irish. She
Mm-hmm.
was sent to a Magdalen laundry in Ireland when she was pregnant without the benefit of marriage.
Hmm. Benefit?
Well, that's,
Question mark.
I would say quotes, but yeah. So, it's embarrassing to the family to have a daughter who's not married, who's pregnant, not just an embarrassment, but shamed and all that other stuff that goes with it. So they would farm these girls out to these Magdalene laundries. Actually, they were home for unwed mothers uh, and other promiscuous or burdensome young women.
Mm-hmm. What year does this take place in?
It takes place all the way from, boy, 1901 up to 1996. The last one closed.
Oh, no, I meant the movie. It's not present day, clearly, because
Yeah, it
1996.
is. It is. She had the baby. So years ago, like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
With you
yeah,
now.
yeah. So this prompted me. I had heard about the Magdalene laundries. And and she goes out to, she's been wondering what happened to her daughter, who she had when she was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets this message to meet somebody at this bar
Mm-hmm.
that night. So she goes to meet somebody. She has a few drinks. Next thing, she wakes up and there's this hole in her wall. It's just weird. I need to go back and rewatch it because there's stuff that went on that I guess I didn't watch too closely. But anyway, so there's this dead woman in this hole in the wall. And um, so she's dealing with trying to find out who this woman was. And it turns out she was one of the nuns at this Magdalene laundry or home for unwed mothers that she was staying at. And she left the nunnery and ended up getting married, and now her deal was going around and finding the mothers and telling them about what happened to their babies. So the Ruth Wilson character,
Hmm.
um, that's what she's doing during this series, is she's trying to piece together what happened with her baby.
Hmm.
There's also a detective who comes from Dublin who was
Hmm.
born there in one of those homes. And there's also the death of a priest. It's just a lot of stuff going on. And
Wow, sounds like it.
yeah, but this really got me thinking about the Magdalene laundries. And I think about Ireland, which has always been this supposedly idyllic Emerald Island with all these, wonderful people and characters that live there. And then you find out about, the stuff that was going on to these women. Um, some of them had been sexually abused. Um, they they were just problematic, a lot of them, to the family. So their deal was to send them to these places, and they would work them in the laundries, hence the
Hmm.
Magdalene laundries. They were run by nuns there
Hmm.
at the time. So once the girls went to one of these institutions, the doors were locked, and they often changed their names. And they were strongly encouraged not to talk about their past, their families. Families and friends were encouraged not to visit. And the girls would work either washing, ironing, sewing, embroidering, other, acts of labor, as they call it, manual labor. And the church would profit from these. But yet the girls got,
Really? A
oh, yeah,
Catholic
these
church
were,
would profit? Dripping with sarcasm. Sorry.
yes, they would. And the
Hmm.
girls got nothing, of course. Uh, they were not educated. Their whole purpose there was to work in the laundries or have babies. The babies ended up being taken from them and farmed out, adopted elsewhere. The
Hmm.
mothers never knew what happened to them.
Hmm.
So it's been a whole, you thought the whole thing about the priests and they're abusing altar boys and other kids was bad. And then you add on top of that this, and it's just not a good history for the church
No.
in Ireland.
Yeah. So I think it sounds very similar to the homes for girls here. Back in the day, I couldn't tell you the years when they got pregnant out of wedlock and they
Hmm.
went off
Hmm.
and had their babies with the nuns, always with the nuns. Um and they never knew where I mean, their babies got adopted out. So the difference I heard was really that that it was strictly, laundry, and that they were basically there in perpetuity, whereas the homes for girls here, it wasn't perpetuity because that woman got out. Did I misunderstand?
Right. Usually the home for unwed mothers is the girls left after they had the baby, I think.
Right. No, I'm talking about the
Here,
woman in the movie. But she got out.
she got out. Yeah.
Did she
Yeah.
escape or did she
No,
actually,
she was able to leave
like
without,
18, you get to just walk out
yeah,
the
I'm
door
not
kind
sure
of
when
thing?
she left. Yeah.
Okay.
But the whole thing too is like, well, you can leave, but who wants you? And what can you do? I mean, the only thing they could do was work in a laundry. She, the character, learned needlework.
Mm-hmm.
So she was very good at alterations and sewing and things like that. So
And did she learn the needlework
there.
there?
Yeah.
So they were
Yeah.
taught a little bit of skill, not
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, I draw a lot of similarities to the homes for girls here that happened. The different, like I said, they only stayed until the baby was born,
Hmm.
and then they
Hmm.
went back to their families, and then nobody ever talked about it. So they basically were never. Nobody knew that they had children because they were shipped
Oh
out
yeah. Yeah.
and then came
Yeah.
back, and magically they were thin again, and everything was fine, and they just went on with their lives.
It was
You know.
such a shameful thing that was dumped on girls back
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
were
There was a girl
damaged
who got
goods.
pregnant in my high school, not my grade, an older girl. Um, but I don't know if she went away though. I don't think she did. I mean she stopped going to school.
Hmm.
Um,
Even then, huh?
yeah.
I thought by
So it
then
was
they
just
were
the
a little
80s,
more.
late 80s. Yeah, sometime
Wow.
between 84 and 88 cuz I graduated in 88. So there was lots of whispering in the hallways about it and
Hmm.
all that.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember a girl in one of my classes, and I had the class with her after she came back. And I remember sitting there looking at her and thinking how brave she must have been
Mhm.
to come back to school,
Mhm.
after having gone through all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, remind us of the title again, Auntie Joan, and where people can watch it.
The Woman in the Wall on Showtime and then on Paramount Plus afterwards.
Gotcha. Are all the episodes out there now?
No, not
Oh,
all
okay.
of them.
So it's actively
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
At least as of this recording.
Gotcha. Very true. Very true. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Auntie Joan. That's awesome. Hopefully, our listener
Stop.
goes and tries to watch that one and enjoys it. Auntie Joan and
Oh,
I both adore the next one that we're going to chat about. Auntie Joan actually got me to watch it. I had seen the promo and I just passed it by and thought, no.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
then Auntie Joan went off and watched it and said, you know what you need to watch? And I said, what? And she said, Fisk. Fisk on Netflix. And I said, oh, I saw a promo for that. I don't know. She's like, it's Australian and it's funny. Go watch it. And I said, all right. And oh my God, so good. So witty and charming and anything Australian, we just seem to gravitate
Yes,
towards. We were
yes.
big fans of Wentworth. I
Oh,
know you
yes.
watched a couple of other Australian shows with some characters from Wentworth. I know we did not talk about this before the show, so I'm not going to put you on the spot. Um, but maybe we should talk about some more Australian things in an upcoming episode. But
Yes, yes,
let's
let's.
stay focused on Fisk for right now. So, creators and writers of Fisk are Kitty Flanagan, who also plays Helen Tudor Fisk in the show, and her partner is Vincent Sheehan, and they came up with this idea. So it takes place in a probate office,
And
but
she is so good. Fisk is so good.
so good. She's a comedian. She's on tour.
But I mean, she's a good lawyer.
Oh yes, yes, indeed. So yeah, Helen Tudor Fisk comes to work for a probate law
Gruber
firm,
and Gruber.
Gruber and Gruber. Only one Gruber was actually suspended, and I forgot the right term that the Australians used for that.
Struck off.
Struck off. She was struck off. Um, so
She
she is
wasn't
now,
struck off. She was only suspended.
yes, but she is now she took over the responsibilities of office manager, so she could still work within the firm. She just couldn't not try cases, but even go through the probate process with any clients. So they brought in Helen Tudor Fisk. She came in to interview, and she interviewed with our dear pal Ray Gruber. So the woman who got struck off, the Gruber that got struck off, her name is Roz, and her brother Ray Gruber is who she had the practice with, and he wants to do zero work and just bring in money. Those are his two key goals in life: to avoid work at all costs and to bring in money. At one point, Helen brings him a cup of coffee from across the street, and get the dollar brew. And she brought one back, and Ray was very excited and said, "Do you know what this smells like? Savings." So funny. There's a bunch of little clips, and I highly recommend to watch it with subtitles on.
Yes,
Australian
yes.
accent can get tricky at times. You'll miss a lot if you don't. I know you're probably like, oh, I can hear it. It's not about hearing, it's about the accent. So absolutely watch it with the subtitles on. You'll still miss stuff. Watch it at least through twice. There's 2 seasons. There's 6 episodes in each season, and each episode is only 25 minutes long. So it's a quick one. You can, if you're in a good binging mood, you can watch both seasons in one binge sitting, or at least one full season in a binge sitting, because that's about 3 hours or
They
so.
cover a lot of time, a lot of action in those half hour, those
They
6
do.
episodes.
Yes. And they bring in characters that are their clients that are just so good. There's a guy,
Popovich.
Popovich is my absolute
Mhm.
favorite. Eileen Popovich. I take that back. No, Daphne Popovich is Mrs. Popovich. Eileen Popovich is her daughter, who we see first. She comes in first saying that her mother is demented. And Helen Tudor Fisk explains the proper term is has dementia, and they are kleptomaniacs, and it is absolutely hysterical. I don't want to give away. I know I gave away a little bit, but there's more to it. You'll enjoy seeing it.
And
Um,
your favorite line from them is
Finders keepers. It's so good. It's so good. And who steals the show for me is Artie, the beautiful dog. He is scrumptious in
yes.
every
Oh,
way.
yes.
I adore him. He's Helen's dog, and he has a good episode about him. Not really about him, but he ends up being a key role in the episode. Mostly, he's a supporting member through most of the episode. She's usually taking him for a walk or talking to him or something. But and her aunt and uncle, May and Graham, are just the two of them set up their equivalent to an Alexa device. I forgot what they call it
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Australia.
it's close to, it sounds close to one of them, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
And and then they have the device text Helen, and it's just say hi to Helen, and it says hi Helen. She gets these texts like, I don't. So they're very, very funny. And her father was a judge,
Supreme
who's
Court judge.
Supreme Court judge, who is retired, but he's he's very funny too. And her mother had passed away about, I think it was like 3 or 6 months before. Maybe it was even 3 years. I don't know. Watch the show, you'll find out. But her father very quickly thereafter
Mm.
got together with his tipster. I don't know exactly, like
I
the
think it's probably like a clerk or
like
something.
a
I don't
clerk or
know.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he now lives with Victor, and Victor is hysterical. The whole everybody. I can't think of a single character that I was like, ugh, they shouldn't have been
Mhm,
in this show.
mhm.
Everybody is just so good, very well casted. Yeah, can't say enough about it. Joan, chat
George
about
the
it.
webmaster.
Oh my God, how did I not bring up George the Webmaster? He really has. I mean, he's very good in season one. He has even more of a presence in season two, and thankfully, because he's just so good. His facial expressions and his interpretations of things, and just everything about him. He's awesome. Love him.
Yeah, it's fun when you see, first she gets put in a storage closet, and then George comes in and tries to make it more homey, and he has her come up with a wall hang or a wall piece of art that's got stuff written in script, and she says, "Well, what do I put on that?" And he says, "Well, things you like." And, she has like butterscotch and scones and tea and her dog. And so he ends up putting these on this wall piece of art, and people come in and they think it's a menu. So they come in and they say, "Oh, well, could I have a scone, please?" And she's
Right.
got to tell that's not a menu, and it's
It's so good.
yeah.
It's so good. If you haven't seen it, honestly, book out some time and sit down and watch it. It is a fun, fun, fun show, both seasons. We're trying to get the word out there. A third season has not yet been picked up. It first broadcasts on Australian broadcast corporations, so only in Australia, but Netflix picked it up for seasons 1 and 2. So we're really hopeful that the Australian ABC picks it up for a third season, and Netflix will do the same. And hopefully, there's many more than just 3 seasons. It's
Oh,
just
and
so
her
good.
outfit is
Oh,
outstanding. She wears this big brown suit, pantsuit, and the pants are real baggy. The
yes,
jacket's oversized, and
yes,
she has 3 of them. So
yes.
she doesn't have to decide, each morning what to wear because,
That's right.
she'll choose from her brown suit. And that kind of gets a topic going periodically of her
Yes.
suit. And yeah.
She's a tiny, tiny little woman. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say she's not much taller than 5 feet tall, and she's a thin woman as well. And this suit is ridiculously sized for her. It looks almost like a clown, a clown
This,
costume almost, but it's a suit. But it's nothing clowny about it other than it's so
oh,
oversized.
those pant legs are just
Ridiculous.
huge. They're like sails,
Oh,
off a sailboat, just flopping around when she walks down the street. It's something.
oh, it's so good. And I didn't write down their names, but the Airbnb hosts that she first stays with in season 1, um, oh my God, just ridiculous. The woman is constantly inside her Airbnb because I guess she's like in a mother-in-law apartment or something. And the owner is constant, and she doesn't speak much English, if at all. And
Yeah,
she,
she's Vietnamese, I think.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
she comes in and just lets herself in and is, taking her shoes out because shoes don't belong inside the house,
No,
and
no.
feeding her dog and sleeping on her couch and
Watching her TV
watching
and
her TV.
cleaning the place and
Oh, it's
stocking the refrigerator.
because the stove is broken. So she has to stock the
That's right.
refrigerator because
That's right.
instead of fixing the stove, her solution is to stock the refrigerator. So it's just everything about it is so good. Can't
Mm-hmm.
say enough. Can't say enough.
Yeah,
Love it.
really talented writers there.
Yes,
And it's
indeed.
quick. I mean, the deliveries are quick.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Very,
yeah, pretty
very,
good, pretty good.
pretty good. So yes, Fisk again on Netflix. Seasons 1 and 2 are out there at your disposal. Please, 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 if you haven't done so, give it a watch. It's good watching.
It's a great escape and it'll brighten your day
Agreed.
or night,
Agreed. Or night.
depending on
Ooh,
when you watch it.
nighttime.
I watch it at night, so
Auntie Joan's a night person.
I watch my news stuff during the daytime. I save the good stuff for nighttime.
That's right. That's right. On to our last segment that we like to call Commercials We Despise. Auntie Joan, you want to kick us off?
Oh, you want me to talk about Dr.
Mm.
Rick?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, this is one of my favorites, though. I really like him. The progressive Dr. Rick, How to Not Be Your Parents. These are my favorite commercials. I can relate to so many of them. And one of my favorites is when they go to the salad bar and they're listing all the bases like, well, they've got the lettuce and quinoa and the different greens and stuff, and the guy's just standing there like, what? And then at the end he goes up to pay the bill, and the clerk says, well, that'll be $19.95, and he says, oh, no, I'm just paying for my own, I'm not paying for everybody's.
I'm just paying for my salad because he
Oh,
was so
excuse me.
no, because he was so surprised that a salad would cost that much.
Well, yeah, but it's
I agree. I'll never forget the first $15 Caesar salad I ever bought with the grilled chicken. I fell over. I'm like, how much do you want for this? Like $15. I'm like, that's insanity. Anyway,
Oh,
continue.
yeah, yeah. And then he did a thing. There's so many things I can relate to, though. Like he does a thing with the, I think he does the maps and GPS. And I still print out maps when I'm going someplace because, like when I go to your house, because to try to follow it on a little screen and you drive and turn and stuff like that, sometimes it's just too much.
And
So
my
if I
house
take,
isn't a great example only because there's no cell service near my house.
well,
So if you don't have something printed out or started your app when you were in service, you're not going to find my house.
mm, mm. Well, if I'm going to a new neighborhood for some reason,
Yeah.
like to pick up something from an
Mm-hmm.
online auction that
Mm-hmm.
I like to participate in, I
Mm-hmm.
like to get the big picture. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a general idea of where I'm going, and I like to hold it in my hand.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm a big app person. Tell me where I need to go. I have the volume on. She tells me where to turn, when not to.
Well, I can tell you where to go.
I'm sure you can. Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
and
Go ahead.
Dr. Rick had a book out. He did. It's out of print now, but I did a Google on it, and I used the Google machine, and I went and looked it up, and there's one for sale on Amazon, $64.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But you can also get it a PDF version and download it for free.
There you
So,
go. Do
yeah.
that.
And his birthday
Mm-hmm.
is the same as mine. He
Mm-hmm.
was born 4 years earlier than me, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was kind of interesting. And in Arlington Heights, he was born. And I lived in that general area for many years. And his real
Where
name
is
is
that?
Bill
Where
Glass.
where is Arlington Heights?
Arlington Heights is a northwest suburb of Chicago.
Ah, gotcha.
It's about 15, 20 miles northwest of Chicago. Used to go
Gotcha.
through it every day when I was going from Palatine, Illinois, down to Chicago to go to work. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
see. And yes, you all have realized at this point that our segment is called Commercials We Despise. Yeah, Auntie Joan has said all glowing things about these commercials and the actors
I
within.
know. I
But
think we
here I
should change the
come, don't
name.
worry.
I think we should change the name.
But don't worry, here I come. So in general, I do adore those commercials as well. I think it was a very interesting take, and I thought it was very creative the way they did it, especially when they went to the big box store, Home Depot, or whatever it was, and that was, I was like, that's awesome. It was really
we
really
all
good.
we all see it. We
Yeah,
all see it.
exactly. It's so funny. But my gripes with these series or this series of commercials from Progressive is that he refers to them as young homeowners. And I struggled to see, no offense to the actors, but I struggled to see young in any of the actors that are within the commercials. I mean, from his perspective, they may seem young, but to generalize them as young homeowners, like to me, a young homeowner is in their 30s. And these folks, none of them look like they're younger than in their early 40s.
I
So,
agree with that. However, the young may just uh, modify how long they've been homeowners rather than the age of them. You see what I'm saying?
not sure I'm buying
It's,
that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a stretch.
I'm just offering a different
Or
perspective.
it could be not only his perspective, but from their parents' point of view, because they're supposed to not, young homeowners that are acting like their parents. So maybe the parent, he's thinking from the parents' perspective that they're young homeowners, because of course parents always, I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
my parents always called me young or kid or whatever. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm 50. I'm 50.
I kick.
I kick. Molly Shannon's skit from SNL that Auntie Joan sent me when I turned 50. But yeah, so I struggle with that. Um, and the LL Cool J commercial specifically. I do love me some LL Cool J. I do, I do, I do. But I just don't enjoy that commercial. I think, I don't like the closing line from Dr. Rick. It was something about you don't have to count down when you're taking a selfie.
Uh-huh.
Most people do, so I don't know what.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Do
So
they?
I thought that was strange. I mean, unless you're talking about the young, like people in their 20s,
Yeah, yeah.
then maybe not. But yeah, you always just go, ready, go, or I'm going to take it in a second or whatever. You give a cue that you're going to start snapping away at pictures. You don't
Yeah.
typically just
Yeah.
start snapping pictures.
I liked LL. That's what I call him, LL.
Oh, on first name basis, are you?
Yeah. I liked him in the commercial. I liked the way he was tolerating the guy.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
see he was losing his patience, but he was trying to be polite and be,
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
nice. But yeah, I thought he was pretty good in that. So I liked him.
That wasn't my favorite of that series of progressive commercials, I have to say, which is too bad because like when I saw him, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good," and then I was like, "Oh, kind of fell flat." Maybe I'd had too high of expectations. That's very possible as well.
What's
But
interesting is that Dr. Rick,
mhm,
being so much older,
knew who he was.
well, that plus he's the one teaching these guys, these people, how to maneuver the internet and use their cell phones and all that
Yes,
stuff.
that's another little. I've noticed that as well. Good call, Auntie Joan. That's another little nit that I'm like,
So just because there's snow on the rooftop doesn't mean it's all dried up and limp on the inside.
oh goodness, who thought
Yeah.
that?
Well, limp, I mean the brain tissue.
Oh.
Jeez, get your
Well, I don't know where
mind
you were going with that.
out of the sewer and up in the gutter with the rest of
I
us.
didn't know where you were going with that. Clean your act up, Auntie Joan. Goodness.
I don't want to lose all of our listeners.
Our one listener, that's true.
Our
We don't want
listeners,
to
stop it.
alienate our one and only.
Stop it. What do you think about that Smucker's commercial with Father Nature?
I absolutely despise it. So I was offended on two fronts. So when it first came on, the first time I have ever seen it, and I saw Smuckers featuring Father Nature, I was immediately triggered, using the kids' words, that something that had been synonymously forever female, Mother Nature, was now being taken over by the patriarchy. And I was like, you can't, no, you can't have this. You cannot have Mother Nature. No, I draw the line. And then the commercial continued. So that was a split second of, oh, no, you didn't. And then, and then I flipped completely and immediately felt bad for the man portrayed in the commercial.
Oh, wow.
He is Mother Nature's husband, I assume. And he is doing a crossword puzzle. And I forget what the clue is, but the answer is
Never
clearly
forgets. Never forgets.
the animal that never forgets. Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What's an animal that never forgets? And all of a sudden you see this elephant trunk come in from the right side of the camera frame, and it pans. Then the camera pans over to his daughter, I assume. And she says, "Dad, it's Steve." And he looks down at his crossword puzzle and he says, "No, Steve doesn't fit." Are we really supposed to believe that this person is this stupid? Like, I felt emasculated for him. The poor guy. I just think that, and there's a series. There's more than just the one commercial. Auntie Joan, I don't know if you've seen them recently and you want to talk about any of the others, but this one was, to me, the most blatantly, they're portraying this guy as a complete and total moron. The other ones, it certainly give that feeling as well, but not as direct. And maybe it's just because I saw the elephant one first. Maybe if I saw one of the other ones first, I would have thought that one was the worst of them all. I don't know. But yeah, no. What was your take, Auntie Joan?
The thing that bothered me the most about those commercials was the laugh track.
I almost spit out my water.
I can tolerate just about anything, but throw in a laugh track and I'm done. I'm
Yes,
done.
Auntie Joan hates the laugh
I
track.
hate the laugh track. I didn't find it as offensive as you did. Um, I just, yeah, I just thought it was kind of cute, and they like to kind of downplay men and their intelligence, and yeah,
Yeah, but then I think it also speaks poorly of Mother Nature. Like, she really married that dumbass.
yeah.
She's smarter than that.
Oh, she
She's
is,
a
but
sharp cookie.
it could have been at a time in her life where, you know, he was just what she was looking for.
Hmm, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. So that's yes. That's the commercial. The series I dislike as well. This one particular commercial with the elephant, Steve.
Yeah.
It kind of sets me off.
There was
So
one with the two birds.
there were birds. I don't
Yeah.
like
Oh,
birds.
yeah, that's right.
So that we'll save for another episode. But yeah, because we can go on about that.
Oh my gosh.
None of
That's
them.
one thing we do not have in common.
That is correct. All right, Auntie Joan, anything else from a commercials perspective that you wanted to bring up today? Either anything else that's been irking you? Were you able to watch that second Jardians commercial to see?
Yeah, and they're different women.
They are different women? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, the second one looks older.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't watch it, so I don't know. It was just some
Well,
information.
I think you need to just to double
Okay.
check, and you can decide
Okay.
that I was right.
Okay. All right. Well, then I think that wraps up today's episode. We thank you all for listening, and this is Auntie signing off.
And Auntie Joan.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. We thank you for listening, and remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.